Thanks for joining us at EverSmart City. I'm Sophia Olivas, co-founder and CEO of EverSmart City. EverSmart is a mixed-use IRL smart community built with shipping containers to provide affordable housing powered by renewable energy. It has sustainable agriculture and is integrated with blockchain technology. The pilot city will be built in Phoenix, Arizona by the end of 2023.
And my name is Mark Anthony, co founder of EverSmart City. And if this is your first time seeing one of our videos, be sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe. We have a bunch of videos previous to this talking about all of the ways that EverSmart City has goals and missions and aligns with the United Nations 17 SDG goals. So be sure to hit the notification bell to get notified as soon as we release more videos, release them on a daily basis. And if you like talking about sustainable communities, renewable energy, tokenization, tiny homes or smart homes, container homes, community gardens, anything in that nature, join our Discord, introduce yourselves, share some articles. We love learning new things and meeting new people. We love to collaborate. So we love to see you guys in there, introduce yourselves, and jump in on the conversation.
All right, so let's start off with what is the definition of self sustaining developments? So, in the environmental sense, it means living within our environmental limits. It's a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The term, however, also describes a development that carries on once the resources used to create it are removed. So this means that you can provide your basic needs, both food, water, shelter, energy, without relying on outside of the community. If you have you ever heard of the phrase "no man is an island"? It means that no man can or should live alone. So as humans, we need each other to survive, whether it be for resources, relationships, just the contact. It's possible, or I don't even know if it's desirable, to be self sufficient 100% for your entire life. However, while becoming more or self sufficient is a greater goal to strive for, another way of thinking about this is to do all that you can for yourself. And when a need arises, look to your local community and the economy to fulfill it. So, for instance, if you can't grow your own meat, someone in your community maybe can and does, and you partner up with them. So, in this way, you create a mostly self sufficient community. So, Mark's going to discuss how communities and individuals can be self sustaining.
Absolutely. The EverSmart, that is our primary goal, as well as helping residents and business owners learn how to become more self-sufficient. And we have a bunch of different um, layers that go build towards that goal. So one of the first layers is our economic model, which is a global model that helps people with financial education, as well as creates an income or earning opportunities for them. Um, Another way is our community gardens, where people can grow their own food, like Sophia was saying. If not grow all their own food, maybe just a specific item, and they grow food for the community. Say one person decides to grow all the tomatoes for the community in the community garden, and they supply that need for the community, or even just their own food. Say, um, one of the things we'll be doing is we'll have chicken coops. We'll raise chicken so we can have people will be able to have their own eggs, less pretty much food production waste. Every morning you could go out and pick your own eggs and have a lot less waste in that sense. The same as beekeeping. We'll have an area where we um, have bees that can help pollinate the community, as well as bees without stingers for people who are allergic. We're going to be very cognizant of that as well.
And
Um,
honey,
Honey is one of the magic elements that nature creates. So we're going to be taking huge advantage of. There's a lot of things honey can do, from healing open wounds to helping with different viruses or illnesses, especially like in tea and stuff like that, which is also important when we're talking about tea or water is in these more self-sufficient or sustainable communities, it creates better opportunities to have better water and waste management systems. So one of the things that we'll be implementing is gray water recycling as well as rainwater recycling. Our main objective with everything in this community, with all the different verticals of waste, is to recycle and reuse. So there'll be very few things that we won't be able to recycle or reuse. Our goal is to always have um, items or produce or products inside the community that is able to recycle and reuse to lower our our waste or even our plastic. So, um, being that most of the food waste, we can use compost piles. Um, some of the livestock like goats and chicken can help eat some of the food waste or some of the weeds. Another thing that we can do is use air dry clothes. Is one of the benefits of being in Arizona, where we have not just the heat, over 110 degrees, but also a very dry climate with almost no humidity, which is perfect for air drying clothes. Um, so, as Sophia mentioned, where in a community like such, where everybody could almost play their own role in participating or supporting the community, it can kind of create this do-it-yourself kind of atmosphere inside of the community where everybody is able to kind of do their own specialty or do their own trade that can help support the community, whether it's sewing clothes or making tables or growing chicken or raising chicken or growing tomatoes or cutting people's hair or making tamales. Um, Everything that a person would need in terms of day to day lifestyle can be found inside of the community, either from the community amenities or from other residents and tenants of the community. We'll also have in our community garden aquaponics, which uses fish to help fertilize the plants, and using the water and the fish's natural body elements, bacteria, their natural body waste. They can eat off the roots of the plants, and then their own waste can help fertilize just directly in the water to the plants. And what happens is when those fish begin to overgrow our gardens, the areas where we have them for gardening, we can now use those fish or tilapia as another source for food. So for people who are pescatarian or people who like having fish in their diet, that will create another option for people to be able to have access to their own resources within the community without having to go outside. As well as inside the community, we'll have our farmers market community garden, but within the community, between the homes, it's a pedestrian only community. We'll have designated parking areas, but not within the marketplace of the community or the residential area of the community. But so in those areas, we'll be planting a bunch of plants that can grow all different types of fruit, from fig to apples to oranges, to bananas, coconuts, you name it, um, to create this atmosphere or environment where people can essentially forge their own food. Meaning they walk through the community, see an orange on the tree, grab it, peel it, and start eating it as they're just walking around. A lot of our communities, cities, municipalities have lost that kind of way of life, and that's one of the things we're trying to bring back to create more self-sufficiency, less mass produce, less waste in terms of shopping. Going to the grocery store. We all know that, or if you don't know, the state of California banned plastic bags. You have to bring your own bags to the grocery store because they're trying to cut back on waste and trying to take a step forward and being more sustainable and environmental friendly. So that's one way that we can do the same thing and taking a step forward towards being more self-sufficient. I also um, had mentioned collecting the rainwater, and in other um, communities or areas that we're going to develop in. We use solar here in Phoenix, but there's also other types of solar panels that can essentially um, almost like a dehumidifier, where it sucks the humidity out of the atmosphere. And those solar panels can do the same thing and collect that water and use that for maybe potable water or hand wash water, or we can use that water to use as gray water in the community gardens. Another thing that we can do is use reusable cloth. We're going to be growing a lot of hemp in our communities and using hemp in as many ways possible, as from our concrete hempcrete and to the siding of our homes and the insulation of our homes. We're going to have a lot of hemp gardens or hemp farms, so we can use that hemp to also you create our own cloth, so people can have reusable cloth. Um, it will be, a huge help to cutting down waste, or buying napkins, or things that are even just wrapped in plastic because the way we buy it, and cutting back on all those things in as many ways as we can is our primary goal with EverSmart City.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to be self-sustaining, and we are really advocates for it in teaching individuals, being able to give you guys vertical growing systems that you can put on a patio, on a porch, inside your house, and grow enough for a family of four very quickly and easily and economically. And there's just there's a lot of great things that are able to do, saving seeds. Um, there's also learning how to as we go out into the US nationwide, we're going to be integrated with cities and the urban communities there. When we start to go into the third world countries and go global, self-sufficiency is going to be of the utmost importance, especially as the climate change refugees start to become more and more apparent. We need to be able to provide solutions for our community members as well as the surrounding communities. And so that's why we talk about self-sufficiency, because we are working on and making sure that we've got these systems in place so that when we do go into countries whose infrastructures might need some assistance in these areas, that we bring the party to the table. So thank you so much for joining us. This is EverSmart City, where technology enhances the human experience.